Hello, good evening, welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. Marie. Part of our training, part of the exercises, part of the preparation into achieving our goals as people who say that we want to do business. Part of it is to handle the losses. Part of it is just part of the journey. It's not something that you can dodge. It's not something that I can dodge. It's just part of the road. And if you ever plan, decide to say that you want to start a business, you have to come to a stage that you ask yourself, can I handle the losses? Can I handle the losses? Because the losses are inevitable. They are just sure. It's like banker to banker. It will happen. And they come in all kind of forms. They come in times that you least expected. They come in, you don't expect them to come. You least thought that the losses will happen. And if you so happen to have taken the journey, if you so happen to have started the journey of achieving your goals as somebody who they call private person, say businessman or an entrepreneur, or if you so happen to have taken a journey that is towards you realizing your dreams, realizing your goals. Uh, Maybe if they didn't tell you to prepare for them, they will come. So you may have to look at how you handle yourself when they happen, because the losses they will come. Even life itself comes with a lot of stages that we call them losses. And every one of us has had our own you know losses somewhere, whether it's exams that you failed, that was lost. Maybe the money that you lost, maybe you had some 2 cedi that you were going to buy food with, and you lost it. It could be an idea that you discussed with somebody and that person stole it from you. It could be a project that you were so sure that you were going to win, and you came back with a lot of damages and a lot of pain, and you came back with debt. You least expected that. It could be, some kind of list that you were following, and at the tail end of it, they told you that they could not give you. Maybe it was a contract that you were following. You were so sure, that they were going to give you, and then you lost it. People have, you will not meet any businessman who will tell you that they have not lost any money. Not the ones who control a lot of money. They have lost a lot of them. Everyone. They may not, unless you ask them. They have lost millions. Those who have millions have lost millions. Those who have billions have happened to have lost billions. So if you have not lost anything, it's likely that you don't have anything anyway. So, so the losses are part of living, and you will lose friends. You will lose people. Sometimes we even lose life. There are things that are dear to humans that we just just part of living. When you're a child, uh, you may not be able to understand the losses as part of life, but as you grow and as the years catch up with you, you will know that part of it is the losing. You Some people may just say that it's not part of their, it's not their portion. They will use all kind of jargons, but I think that the losses come to train us. They come to build us. They give us some bit of clarity. They come to toughen us and give us some bit of wisdom as well. So part of living on this earth is how you handle the losses. And so if you cannot handle the losses, then it's likely that you cannot pursue your dream. If you cannot handle the losses, it's likely that you cannot build that business that you want to build. One of the reasons why most people will never dare to start a business or dare to, you know, the business plan they have, the ideas that they have. One of the reasons that they will never ever put it into practice is that they cannot see themselves as coming to a stage of losing. Of losing. They will rather run back because it's very uncomfortable. You took your last money and you put it in that business, and then before you saw it, you lost the business and you lost other people's money, and you happen to have people that you procure their services that you cannot even pay. It's part of losses. So, can you handle the losses? It's part of the dream. If you're living in the land that is very far, you convince yourself that it's never part of you. It's not, you will never lose anything. I remember there was a time I had a friend. He said that he's never lost anything, and it was very new to me because it meant that he was not stretching. If you are stretching, if you are daring, if you're ambitious, there will be losses. There will be losses. Now, the losses can come in the form of you being intentional, being fast, being fraudulent, being somebody who wants to trick people, or the losses sometimes can come just natural part of life. They came in at your weakest point, at where you didn't pay much attention, and then the losses struck you. The losses are part of business. And so if you cannot handle the losses, then you cannot build a business. People will run away with your money. People will cheat you. People will lie to you. People will take you for granted. The business friend that you so much trusted and you believed, you will find out that that person was actually not telling you all the story. And so try to handle your emotions when the losses, when at your point of, at a stage where you are in the middle of the losses, you have to handle your emotions. And don't so much believe that nothing of that sort can happen to you. Because the thing is that they are happening and you are in the middle of it. And what makes the losses so much painful and sometimes so much, people become obsessed with it is because not so much of their own pain, but of the fact that what people will think of it, because they think they have some kind of respect in society. They call it reputation or something. They think that some people hold them in very high esteem, and therefore, why would another person think that he was that not intelligent, and that somebody of that sort could trick them, or how could they make such a blunder and lose the project and lose the money, and how could they make that kind of mistake? So the emotions, you have to handle it, because at that point, the thing is that most people are the last people to be gracious on themselves when they are in their losses. The thing is that everybody has something that they are thinking of. Everybody has something that they are worried about. And so if you have the losses and you are in the middle of the losses, uh, the people that you are worried about, they have different things that they're also worried about. So reduce the emotions, deal with it. It's part of life. The painful experiences, the things that brought the losses. If you think of it well, maybe in the future you can use that for another thing. But if you're going to achieve your dream, if you're going to build your business, take it from this stage to the next level. If you're going to expand, grow, become great with whatever that you want to achieve, you'll be deceiving yourself if you think that there will never be any losses. You're lying. Even the things that you started with good intentions, somebody will say somewhere and accuse you of something that you had never ever thought of. And so if you're a dreamer, if you're an achiever, if you're something that you want to go beyond just the normal, every great person that you see, every one of them in every field, whether it's business, whether it's politics, whether it's entertainment, everywhere, there are situations. There were a lot of times that they lost things. They lost money, they lost friends, they lost reputation, they lost, you know, big things that somebody else would cry to lose. The only reason that they did not stay at that stage is because they understand, or they probably understood that losing is also part of the process of winning. And that is very That is a news to a lot of people. Because at the point of you losing, you never think of it as part of the process of winning. Life, as life is. The things that happen to you, the things that happen to me, the real challenge is not the things that have happened. The real challenge is how we interpret the things that have happened. The things that will happen to you, the things that you will cry and weep and get bitter for a long time. Somebody else, the same thing will happen. It will pain them, yes, but they will start to gather the wisdom out of it and they will start to use the same thing and to get to build to the next stage. So the losses are part of the dreamer's journey. The dreamer's journey. So pick yourself from the losses, they are part. So if you don't want to dare, if you don't want to play any big league, if you don't want, then no problem. Or if you bring it to, let's say, if you bring it to maybe in football, all the great players, the Messi and all those guys, there have been matches that they wanted to win that they lost, and it became big lessons to them. Everyone, there are politicians who were so sure of winning, and they lost. It is part of the game. The only reason they could pick themselves up and come back and fight again is because they know that the losing is part of the journey. And so the business, as your business that you're doing, you cannot hinge yourself to that painful moment and say that I'm not going to do it again. How could I lose? How could I lose this kind of money? How could I be so much dumb, and daft for somebody to have taken me for granted so much that he ran away and I could not even see it. You enlarge the losses when you so think that you can never make any mistake, when you so think that you're so genius, when you see the world as a perfect state. That's why you magnify the losses. But when the world is not a perfect stage, and you know that human beings are here, the human beings are the ones who are going to create the losses. Situations are here that will create the losses for you. And you yourself, you are not even perfect. And so some of the decisions that you're so sure, at the time that you make them, you were so sure. Then 2 years, the same decision that you're so much sure turn out to be a major blunder to you. If you understand that that is part of living and you are not a perfect human being, then you may be able to at least minimize the losses, if nothing at all in your head, in the way you look at it, how it matters. And so the losses are just part of the journey, and all great achievers have had their portion of it. All great dreamers have had their portion of it. And so your business, you're going to meet a lot of them. And don't confuse yourself to think that it will never happen to you. It will happen to you. It will happen. So nobody should tell you that you will never lose anything and nothing bad will happen to you. All those things. They should rather encourage you to build yourself to a stage where the losses will come, and still you'll be able to go. The combustion engine, and not every fuel that you put in it gives you. It doesn't. If you pay 100 Ghana fuel, it doesn't give you 100 Ghana output. The engine that you paid so much money for does not give you 100% efficiency. There are losses. But because you want the drive, you did not so much concern yourself or focus on the losses. They say, if you want the drive of life, if you want your business to succeed, if you want your dreams, if you want the business to go to the next stage, you just have to know that the losses will come. And when the losses come, they create heat. They create big heat. Big heat. They create confusion, they create pain, they create disagreement, they create people leaving you, people pursuing you for whatever mistake that you made. You could sometimes end you, and you could sometimes find yourself in the bad side of the law because of the losses. For instance, the people who have this, the some of the things that are going on in our financial institutions now. There are people who may have been, they didn't know what was happening, but now it's a loss, big loss to them, and it's created a whole heat to distort the family forever, to distort even their own perception forever. Very few of them will be able to come back out of this situation and become buoyant. The reason they will come out of that and take advantage of the heat that the losses create It's because they think of the situation differently. And so the losses, just understand that they will come. We have had a lot of those. Some of them were just decisions that we were just not intelligent to have made, So we made wrong choices. They turn out to be big losses to us, on projects, on partners, on money, on bad loans, on all kind of things. And then I found out that most of these guys who are doing business probably have similar stories, especially those who didn't start with much wisdom, much knowledge, much exposure, much network, much money. Those people who just started with vim and vigor, also forget the kind or CGD any patapa. That is what they started with. If you're like that, uh, you'll be prepared for the losses because they will come. But the losses are not meant to destroy you. That's what people don't know, especially the ones that you meet in your bid of building your dream, in your bid of building your business. The ones that you were not fraudulent, the ones that you were not intentional. What I mean is you were not wicked. You were not just trying to cheat or screw somebody or lie to somebody or take somebody for granted. The ones that you didn't sit down to plan to make another person lose. Those kind of mistakes, those kind of losses that come, they are not meant to destroy your dream. They are not meant to make you stop the journey. Part of it were just there to extract the impurity from your character and from your judgment. Because you're going to get to a stage where the business that you're building is going to succeed because you become intelligent in your decisions. And some of the losses were meant to make you to get to a stage where you can make right choices and right decisions, where you will know which money to use, which money not to use, which project to pursue, which project not to pursue, who to trust, who not to trust, who you should bother yourself with, what you should spend your time on. Those things, they came, the losses. If you didn't make right decisions on these areas, then the losses will just stare at you. There are other people who were just scheming to cheat people, were just scheming to lie to people, were just they were just their business is to just cheat somebody, to lie. Those kind of people, the losses will not be able. They may not be able to overcome the losses. If you were that much intentional and you were that wicked in your decisions, you were meant to destroy, to dupe, to be fraudulent, then the losses may take you out until you start to do the right thing. But there are other losses that will come just because you are naive, you are immature. Like the child who starts to walk. If the child is walking, he will fall. If that child falls, it does not mean he was wicked. It just means that it's part of the process of walking. A time will come that those fallings, a child will not do them again. He will come to a stage where he will run. And he will run because he did not give up when he failed, when he failed, as part of the child learning how to walk. And so these are part of it. These are part of the situation. And never say to yourself that because I have lost this kind of money, because I have lost this kind of relationship, because I have lost this kind of product, this friendship, out of my bid to learn and to pursue my dream, then I will not do it again. No, some people have built businesses. It seemed to us, the business was doing well, and then he lost the business. Then they go down to see that I will never try business again. No, that's not the time to tell yourself that. Can you handle the losses? Because they are part of the journey. They are part of the journey. Where you want to go, the losses will be there. And so when you lost that business, don't go back to say that I will never start that business again. No. Just sit back, look at the situation again, do some auditing, and get some training, and then go back and try again. Because the losses were not meant to stop you. Give yourself some time. Because you will never get to your dream by not taking risk. And if you take any risk, the reason they call it risk is because there's a component of it that is called losses. There's a component of every risk. Anything that they call risk, there's a component of you losing. that which you put in, your time and your resources. So the only reason they call it losses is because you could lose. Risk. The only reason they call it risk is because you could lose. And so, can you handle that? It's not just the winnings that should get your attention. There will be some part of it that will be losses, and and you should know that it's just part of the journey. It's just part of the journey. So, can you handle the losses? Can you handle the losses? Can you handle the disagreements? Can you handle the people who you started with? They were so much happy with the business. Then they got to a stage they couldn't understand what was going on. There was chaos everywhere. And those people, you call them, they will not pick again. They tell you that they have changed their mind and they want to pursue another dream. Can you handle that stage? Can you still pursue your dream? Can you still go with the business? Can you still pursue the idea? Or you tried that farming, you said you wanted to do farming and you tried it and you lost all the product. Can you try it the next season? Can you handle the loss stage? Because most people are so much intelligent that they cannot see themselves as those kind of people who ever lost anything because they were so much sure of their choices and their decisions. So my name is Obinako. I am talking about, can you handle the losses? Can you handle the losses? How you were trained, how you were brought up, the persuasions that you have had, the mindset that you have developed, they have affected how you handle losses. If you grew up thinking that you are so much intelligent, if somebody cheats you, you cannot let it go. If somebody runs away with your money, you will go and fight and kill because you cannot understand why somebody else should be in a position to cheat you and be faster and smarter than you. If you're going to build your business, these things will happen. These things will happen. You will let somebody handle something and they will lie, they will cheat, they will run away with the product and with the business. You may have gone to discuss your business idea with somebody and the person ended up taking the business. You may have introduced some connection, somebody there, you may have introduced a financier to somebody else. And the next time you saw the financier, he was not ready to talk to you again because the other person you introduced to has gone, may have gone there to blow their horns. The thing is, when you're doing business with people like that and they go behind you and they do that, never worry about those. Of course, protect your interests. But after doing whatever you can, if you introduce somebody to any project, any lead, any link, and they go behind you and they take it, don't worry. Never worry. It's just part of you learning. Because after all, if you're that wise and smart, you probably would have not done that. So if they took the business away from you, if they took the project from you, you introduce somebody came to work with you, and the next minute you see them poached by another person. Don't worry about it. It's just part of the losses. It's painful. Maybe you employ somebody that you reduce the standard to employ them, and then they ended up screwing and misbehaving and destroying some of the things that you probably built. Don't worry about those two situations. They are part of the losses. They will happen. They will happen. One thing that the losses maybe sometimes they will pain you is because you sometimes you get a signal but you overlook it. Sometimes you get a signal and you overlook it because you're so much optimistic. That's something about entrepreneurship, and that's something about people who try to, build something out of nothing or build something with the ideas that come to them. Because they have a lot of optimism, because they have a lot of positivity, they easily extend those things to people because they hope, they are hopeful, they have faith, and they try to carry the same kind of aura around them to everybody. So when somebody else is even a crook, they hardly don't see it. And so some of it may, some of the losses may come from the fact that you are very much optimistic, you're very much focused on your dream, you're very much focused on your future, and that person who came who looked like a crook, you just were trying to redefine some of their actions and some of their decisions to your positive side of you because you think that people just have to be positive and hopeful and honest. It doesn't happen like that. And so the very things that you probably overlooked and you took for granted, those are the areas that sometimes the losses will come. And when they come, don't kill yourself and say that, I wish I had known it. Because if you wish you had known it, and if you had known it actually, you would never have had it as a loss. And so part of winning is losing. And that's why there's a risk component in every business endeavor. So they say that the losses are inevitable, and I accept that. They're inevitable. You will never meet anybody who has ever achieved any great feat, any business, even if they started the business, and even if they started the business, they've been in the business for let's say 2 months, 3 months. There is something that they will tell you that they lost. You lose. If nothing at all, you lose friends. If nothing at all, you lose some hobbies. If nothing at all, you will lose some money. People will cheat you. If nothing at all, some of your deals may not work. The ones that you were so much happy with may not work as you thought. And so the losses are part of the winning. And so that is part of the philosophy that you have to develop. If you're part of those people who are saying that they never lose anything and everything that they touch is going to work and they are blessed of the Lord, yes, it's true. We are all blessed of the Lord, but part of the process, is that not everything works 100%. And so that percentage that did not work is considered as part of the losses. And so if you have that kind of philosophy, then you'll be able to build, you'll be able to dare, you'll be able to even trust people. Because then when they fail, it will not shake you. For instance, let's say you have a project and you put an engineer there. Even though you're hopeful, you trust the person. Sometimes you can hear stories that you didn't want to hear. But if you are afraid of losses, then you will be there yourself. You don't want anybody to be there. You have to be there. You have to be there and take and do everything all yourself. And that's why even if you started the business, if you are so much, you are so much uncomfortable with losing, then you would want to do everything yourself. And the moment you want to do everything yourself, it means that you cannot grow. So part of the risk of expanding, of growing, of developing, of becoming bigger than you thought is for you to be open to losses as well. Because the other branch that you open, those guys you train and you put there could easily drop everything on the ground. And the thing about it is that if you are the owner, if you started it, the winnings, they are for everybody, but the losses are for you alone. And that's the part of business that people don't like. Because that guy that you put there, the manager that you left that branch to, the general manager that you left that business for, he is not a director, he probably is not a shareholder. If he makes any bad decisions, whether knowingly or unknowingly, even if he wanted to lie and cheat, their decisions, their ramifications rest with you. And that's part of the losses. And so you want to grow, but that man that you're putting there, that lady that you're putting there, that you are giving a lot of responsibilities, you are responsible for the eventualities there. And some of it may be coming out of the losses. And so the losses will help you to grow, to help you to learn how to manage and to expand. It will help you how to build a team, how to manage talent. And sometimes it will also help you to just to drop your influence, so to say, and let other people have the opportunity to also grow. Because if you're comfortable with the fact that anything can, you can have losses from anywhere, then you have conditioned yourself. It's like the way people are very much uncomfortable with stealing, stealing from workers. The fact is that almost all these big businesses that you hear and you see with all the systems and the structures that they have in place, there are still losses there. People know how to beat the system. But those businesses have come to understand that there is a possible percentage of losses. So they are not afraid. They factor that into part of doing business. That's why most people are not comfortable. If you want to grow, if you want to step out to do something, if you want to do anything, just factor the losses as part of doing business. Because they will come. It's not some places when they make 5% profit a year, they think that they are doing well. When we start business, in the next 3 months, we want to make 100% profit, or we will not do it. You are very much uncomfortable with the losses because you are impatient to succeed. You are impatient, so you are not giving yourself long term. When you start a business, give yourself long term. Give yourself 5 years. Give yourself even 10 years to learn and to grow. So when you give yourself that long rope, it means that whatever losses happen, you're not going to be disturbed or perturbed by those losses, because you know that the eventuality, the end result is what is, because you're going to win, because you're going to become better, even with the waves. With the waves, it's like that, and then it gets to a point, it starts to make sense to you. So when you give yourself long-term perspective of the business that you're doing, then you will not stagnate, or you will not be stopped by the losses. Whether the losses are coming from the debt, losses are coming from the people who stop the work, or the people who run away with the ideas. Some people will go and take your customers. They're part of the losses. Never be disturbed about those. You just have to go and retune your structure and your systems and look at where somebody was able to take advantage of you, and build it. Because some of the losses will just send your signal to better the system, to better your philosophy, to build it well. Because every loop, every losses, every hole, once you start to block them, you start to get to the goal where the thing will start to make sense and probably will start to grow. And that is business. So can you handle the losses? They are part of the dream of you owning a business. So if you are that kind of person, when you were in school, some people were very much unhappy with failing the exam. Yeah, I was not happy to recite anyway. But if the receipt came, you just had to receipt. And that's why, if you look at the trainings that people have gone through, the people who have had a lot of losses in their life are people who have developed strength to deal with the issues of life. The people who have not had much losses are people who are not that much strong in dealing with the issues of life. And when the losses hit them at a point that they have grown, it's difficult for them to get back up, because they are not used to losing. They are not used to losing. And so pick yourself up from the losses. Pick yourself up from the losses and separate yourself from the losses. The losses are there, they have name, and you also have your name. If you say that because you lost that money, you are the one, then you will never have the strength to go to the next stage. After all, not everything that you have done ended up in losses. Some things worked. Some things work. So the thing is that if you're weak emotionally, if you're weak within, then every loss becomes so much painful, and you ponder, you weep, you cry over it. You know, even those who were wicked to you, when they go, you cry, because you have a soft heart. If you have a soft heart, maybe you have to build a stronger one, because the losses will come anyway. And if you're going to get to your dreams, people will just do that. There will be money, there will be things that you don't want to hear, what you will hear. People will leave you when you least expected them to leave. You just have to build yourself like that. You hear stories every day that will let you to give up on your dream. Never give up on that dream that you're building. And so anytime that you hear that there is a bad thing that you didn't expect, it's just part of the losses. It's part of the building, it's part of the winning, it's part of the dream, it's part of the journey, it's part of the process. Don't let them stop you. Don't let them stop you. So build emotional strength. Build different psyche. Nobody wants to lose. I don't want to lose, but they will happen. And if they happen, just see it as part of the process. And that they don't have to stop you. And if you have vowed, maybe previously, I met a friend who was building I think a microfinance company or something like that. And the people he left the business with, he gave the money to their friends, and they built houses with them. And he was lost. He was left with all the bad situation. He said that he would never do it again. Of course, I didn't say anything, but never say. Because wherever you fall is the same place that you get up. Most likely. So that business that drop you everything. Maybe It's the same business that will lift you up. So don't swear when you have lost, when your face is on the ground, when you have a painful experience. Don't swear that I will never do this again. Especially when you were not fraudulent, when you were not wicked, when you didn't lie. When it's just part of the natural process of you making wrong decisions, which ended up, becoming a huge loss to you. Don't swear that I will never do this again. Just give yourself some time, because you're better off than people who have never tried anything and people who have not tried that thing. The kind of knowledge that you have acquired, the kind of skill that you have acquired, just because you tried, just because you dare, that knowledge is precious. Don't waste it by saying I'm never going to do it again. Give yourself breathing space, and go back and fight again, because you never know. At the point where you are trying to give up and you're focusing on the losses and crying and weeping, maybe the light will come from the same place. Because they call light out of darkness. The divine, he called light out of darkness. The light is always in the darkness. So the light is always in the losses. The gains are always in the losses. So look at what you have become out of the losses. Look at the things that you have learned. Sit down. Did you trust people quickly? You didn't do the math well, or you took the bad loan, or you started the wrong business, whatever it is. Sit down, calculate. Do your numbers, and never kill yourself, because you're not the only one with the losses. Everyone who has ever done anything, who has ever lived, has had some bit of challenges, some bit of losses, some bit of pain, some kind of experiences that they were never comfortable with. So don't exaggerate yourself, and don't make yourself special. Don't tell us that your situation is so unique. It's not unique, and it's not the devil. And it's not the demon, and it's not an ancestral curse, because that's how people are used to in our country. When anybody meets any challenges, the next one they want to tell you is that it's ancestral curse, it's something demon somewhere. Majority of the things that people go through on this earth in trying to achieve their dreams are not demonic. They are just part of the process of skill development, of becoming somebody who can do more, building the expertise. Those are the things that people go through to become great, because you want to build the expertise. And if you had the expertise, then there will not be losses, but you didn't have it, and you trade some of these things for the expertise. And so when you're doing business and you meet those losses and challenges, don't ever let anybody confuse you that because you are in the middle of the losses, because your finances were not good, maybe your financial knowledge was weak, that's why you procured that loan, that's why you didn't look at the numbers. Maybe your sales skill, maybe they were weak, that's why you could not sell the product. Maybe you could not understand the market well, that's why the people did not buy the product. Maybe the time you introduced the business was wrong. Maybe the time you introduced the business was wrong. Maybe the time you introduced the idea was wrong. Maybe you didn't study that partner well and you committed so much to him. Maybe that employee you didn't study well and you committed so much to him. So a lot of the losses are coming from inexperience. A lot of it are coming from lack of skill, lack of clarity, lack of focus, lack of precision in decision making. So it's not any demon. Don't believe it. You cannot build business with superstition, especially the ones that are against you. You build business with vim, with faith, with hope, with vigor, with skill development, with training, with humility to learn. Because if you're arrogant, your losses will kill you. If you're arrogant, your losses will kill you. When you're arrogant and you fall, it's tough for you to get back up, because you think that you know everything. But if you're humble, you know that you can make mistakes. You think that you can make a mistake, and it's not the end of the world. You are not. Once you have life, you can build, and you can build again. You can build again. So all the pain, all the things that came up. And don't worry about what people think. People have the right to think what they want to think. What is important is that what do you think? And what you think should be something that will help you to grow and become better. You should not think as if you're weak. Because one of the most dangerous things to do in the middle of the losses is to think yourself weak, is to think yourself a victim. That is one of the most dangerous. If anything is going to help you, at the point where everything is a loss, you see yourself as somebody who has what it takes to build back up. You see yourself as somebody who is ready to go and learn and rebuild. You see yourself somebody who is equipped to build from where he is and leverage on all the past experiences. That's how you fight back up. But if you let the worst that everybody is saying get to you, you say that why did I start this? I don't have the expertise. I didn't have it. I'm not that intelligent. I can't make the right decision. If you listen to those words, the losses will kill you. They'll wipe you out. They'll take every breath from you. The loans will kill you. The bad ones will kill you. The project failure will kill you. The business collapse will kill you. The friends who left will kill you. Sometimes maybe the girlfriend or the wife who left will kill you. That pain will kill you. Maybe the product that you introduced that did not work may kill you. The sales that you didn't get, the business deals that you didn't get may kill you. If you see yourself as weak. But if you see yourself as a champion, you can fight back up. And you give yourself the long-term perspective. And you're humble enough to learn and to ask and to retrain and to retool and possibly to reposition, you will win. And you will win far more than what you lost. Because something about business is that it's not just the ones that you lost. Somebody can lose 1,000 times, but just one win can explode them, can take them. All the people that you see that they are making noise, sometimes it's just he's tried a lot, it didn't work. Then just one thing that works, and everybody else is calling him a genius. Was he? You're not sure. It was just somebody who did not let the losses stop them from pursuing their dream and pursuing their goal. That is the kind of thinking that will help you to win and to succeed. To help you to win and to succeed. So develop yourself. Never let any losses. It is a stage. Know that the losses, it's a stage. It will pass. If you become better, if you develop, if you convince yourself, that stage will pass. And you get to the stage where you could start to make noise. You start to say that, wow. Then you start to tell people, there was a time that we had a lot of challenges, but we didn't quit. We didn't stop. Everything else was against us. Everything else seemed like, the whole earth was against you. But you didn't give up because you understood that is part of the winning. So the losses are really part of the winning. Don't separate them. But separate yourself from the losses. You are an individual who made those decisions. You're not the failure. You're not the losses. You just made those bad decisions and they came to destroy a lot of the things that you did. And so the losses could be anything. Could be anything. Could be loans, could be bad business, could be bad project, could be friends who left you, could be anything. But don't let them stop you. Never let them stop you. Never let them stop you. Living on this earth, it comes with a lot of burden. And losses are part of living on this earth. After all, if you get up in the morning and you don't bath if it's 1 week in hand and you have no bath, the system is generating that which you don't want. And that's how life is. The system is generating something that is not needed, and those culminate into losses. So try to keep your emotions and give yourself long-term perspective and leverage on the pain and leverage on the experiences out of the losses. But make sure that your losses are not coming from your wickedness and your fraudulent acts, but they are coming from your weakness and your weak skills and your naivety. And humble yourself to handle the losses and continue to push. Continue to push. And you never know. As you continue to push, you'll get to that dream. And so pick yourself from the losses. Pick yourself from the losses. And don't let what people think about what you have lost be anything. Don't worry. whether it's your child or your children, what they think, or even your wife or your family or your friends and what they think. You are speaking to yourself. The ones that you are talking to yourself within, those should not be weak words. It should be strong words. Even if everything else seems like nothing is going to work again. Because the fact is that something will work again anyway. Something will work again anyway, whether you know it or not. After all, you were not born with the losses. So it got to a point that the losses came. So what makes you think that you will die with the losses? No. Something will change anyway. You just have to be resolute. You just have to be faith. Just have to be faith oriented, hopeful, and keep developing yourself and keep trying and keep becoming better and keep learning because that's how you can handle the losses. That's how you handle the losses. That's how you handle the losses. And so some of the things that you may have to do is to surround yourself with people who really understand the situation that you are in. And don't say weak words to yourself. Say words that bring the best out of your choices and out of the way you see life. After all, not many people have tried anything. So if you tried it and you failed and came back with a lot of losses, you're better off than a lot of people who are just reading and talking about it, but who have never tried it. Who have never tried it. And so every great dreamer, every great achiever embraced the thought that I have to take a risk. Anybody that you see who has ever achieved anything, they took risk. And the part of taking risk is what? It's the losses. That's why they call it risking. So don't tell yourself that I don't want to lose anything. You don't want to lose anything, then it means you don't want to win anything. Because if you want to win, then you're also ready to lose. If you want to win, you must be ready to lose. It's part of life. Everyone, no matter how they change it, no matter which name they call it, if you want to win, be ready to lose. And winning is inevitable, and losing is also inevitable. Becoming like that. It's like coin. One side is win, one side is loss. But the loss is training you to get more wins. And it depends on how you think of these things, how you process this kind of information. The words that you use, the way you look at life, those are the things that have defined you. It's not so much what happened to you. No. It's how you handle what happened. Some people are so much negative that any little thing that they lose, they blow it so much high. They make the losses. The loss is little, but they will make it so big to everybody and into their ear. That's why you become afraid. That's why you become afraid. After all, if it's a loss, then it's a loss. So whether it's 10 million or 200 million or 1 cedi, it's a loss. So why would you want to make it so much huge that you become afraid trying to surmount it? You rather want to raise yourself so big, above the losses and above the failure of the challenge, and tell yourself that I'm able to handle this and get to the next stage. If it's a business debt, because that's where a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling. If your decisions brought you into losses and you owe banks, you owe people, if you don't get your thoughts right, nobody else will pay those loans for you. You are the one to pay those loans. So make yourself believe that you have what it takes to go back and solve all those issues and never run away from them. It's a loss. Doesn't matter. Fight back. Go and do more. Go and try more. Become great, because a lot of these guys never let those things stop them. All the top billionaires you hear around the world, all of them were hit one way or the other. They hit the rock. They never stop. They told themselves that we are able to overcome this situation and move on to the next stage. They never let the losses stop them. And they didn't say that it was the devil who was, a sister case. They never said that. It's a business decision, pure business decision that did not work, that has brought trouble. So never let anybody take advantage of your business decision that didn't work, of your business problems that didn't work, and tell you that they have the solution. Meanwhile, they have never built any business before. And most of them going around trying to tell you what they don't. Don't believe that. Fight back. Go and win. Because it's inevitable. They will happen. Life is full of them. Life is full of them. So don't let anybody take advantage of your situation. Fight back. Fight back and continue to fight back. and you will win. And so my name is Obinako. I thank you very much for watching. Can you handle the losses? Can you? You should be, or you'll not be able to handle the gains and the winnings because they come together. At least from the beginning, they come together. So thank you very much.